Hello, I'm Nikki Eisenhower, life coach and psychotherapist, and this is Emotional Badass, where Moxie meets Mindful. On today's episode, we are going to dive into one of my favorite books, The Emotion Thesaurus, and the feeling of embarrassment. I loved books as a child. It's probably not the first time you've heard me say it. I would read every thesaurus and dictionary and even baby name books as a kid. I loved just the texture of a name, of a word, of describing really fascinated me. So my grown-up self has The Emotion Thesaurus, A Writer's Guide to Character Expression by Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglisis. And I'm going to use this book today as a guide to help us break down embarrassment. This is how it's defined in the book. Embarrassment, a lack of composure due to self-conscious discomfort. Now think about your most embarrassing moment. This is the lead-in episode because only for patrons, I'm going to break down my most embarrassing moment and the path to self-esteem. These embarrassing moments, guys, there's some therapeutic value there. But let's go over some physical signs that are outlined in the book about the physical signs of embarrassment, these physical signals. It's a flush that creeps across the cheeks, visible sweating, the body freezing in place, grimacing or swallowing, ears that turn red, the chin dipping down, the chest caving, a bent spine, hands curling around one's middle, feet shuffling, clearing the throat, coughing, covering oneself like crossing the arms or closing a jacket or sweater, pulling at the collar, rubbing the back of the neck, wincing, covering the face with hands, cringing or shaking, fidgeting, squirming, stuttering, stammering, flinching away from touch, a weakened voice, speechlessness, toes curling up, knees pulling together, arms tucking in at the sides, sliding down in a chair, unable to meet someone's eyes, shoulders slumping or curling forward, responding with anger, shoving or punching, gritting one's teeth, pressing the lips tight, shoving hands in pockets, fiddling with shirt sleeves, hiding behind a book, shielding or having a death grip on a purse, a walk that accelerates into a sprint, hiding behind hair, glancing about for help, exit, or escape, tugging at a hat down low or pulling a hood over the head, a trembling chin. Now, when I hear those physical signals, what cues me in is how similar to a trauma response embarrassment might be. I also heard all the body alignment from my yoga teaching and training. It really is true, even if it's a new concept for you, because I know it's a weird thing to think of when you haven't been exposed to these ideas, but this is how our feelings show up in our bodies. So when we go to yoga and we physically align and we straighten the spine and we reach tall through the crown of the head and we lift up through the ribs, we're realigning our emotional bodies, not just our physical bodies. I love how this book is broken down. Next, we've got internal sensations of embarrassment, excessive swallowing, lightheadedness, a tingling that sweeps up the back of the neck and across the face, a tightening in the chest, stomach hardening or dropping with a manifestation of dread. Face, neck, and ears can get hot, rushed breathing, a rapid heartbeat. Doesn't it sound like a panic attack? Have you ever thought of embarrassment as being a trigger? All right, let's keep going in my Emotion Thesaurus. Next category of description is mental response. A compulsion to flee, fight or flight, muddied or panicked thoughts, A disconnect where the mind struggles with belief. This can't be happening. Thoughts searching for a solution. That's also what happens when someone is traumatized. Next category in the book, the cues of acute or long-term embarrassment. Crying, which I find interesting that that's there. Running from the room or situation. Plummeting self-esteem. Fear of public speaking or being on display. Withdrawing from groups, activities, and social interaction. A loss of appetite. I'm going to add an increase in appetite also. Obsessing about the embarrassing event, reliving it. Poor sleep and weight loss. And it may escalate to humiliation, depression, and regret and shame. Also feelings completely broken down in this book. It even tells us cues of suppressed embarrassment. Pretending to not be seen or heard. Going invisible. Intensely concentrating on something else, actively ignoring others. A fake smile, trying to laugh it off, changing the topic in any way possible, lying, deflecting attention, and assigning blame to another. Each feeling in this book is broken down with an extra writer's tip. And I'm going to add it because I didn't realize it before flipping to this page and wanting to do a show about it. The writer's tip for embarrassment is: be wary of showing emotion too readily through the act of crying. In real life, it takes a lot to reach a tearful state, and so it should be the same for our characters. I think it's the very first episode of Emotional Badass that I break down why I'm doing the show and what an emotional badass is. We are the 20%. We are the feelers. 80% of the world has given us messages. This has been one of them. Even in a book that is only about emotion. We HSPs are told over and over again to be wary of showing emotion and that it takes a lot to reach a tearful state. That's not true for me. I don't think it's true for many of you listening to the show. So I love this book. What it challenges me to see differently, like the writer's tip I just read. The interesting breakdown in a completely non-therapeutic lens. This is a book for writers and character development. I love pulling tools from unconventional places and making them therapeutic. It fits my vision of the world that every moment has therapeutic value and opportunity if we just look. I'm excited to pull this book out again and look through it again for you, the listeners. It made me find an email address where I'm going to try to connect with these authors and add them to our interview list. So check out their book. It's The Emotion Thesaurus, A Writer's Guide to Character Expression. It may give you, your therapist, your healer, your life coach, some information about the feelings that you're feeling. And if you struggle to express them, here you go. Keep those 5-star reviews coming if you like what the show is doing, like what I'm talking about. That's what helps us on iTunes and the podcasting world. That is everything. The comments there are so heartwarming and supportive. I appreciate them all. And also, you don't have to write something spectacular or beautiful or kind. I know you HSPs, you don't want to come write something unless it's very, very thoughtful and mindful. But I also know how busy you guys are. So if you need to just do a quick throw up there, that'll help the show to just throw up a 5-star review and just say, I like bananas or anything goofy that you need to, that's fine too. And if you want more from me or have it in your hearts to support the show more because you have more to give, come find us on patreon.com/emotionalbadass. Last time I looked, 88 countries. This Louisiana girl's finally going to learn geography watching where this podcast is going. On the Patreon, I will do my most embarrassing life moment to teach you and share with you what I learned from it. Thank you for exploring embarrassment with me today. I can't wait to keep producing content for you. I'll see you next time. Till then, I'm Nikki Eisenhower, and this is Emotional Badass, where Moxie meets Mindful.